Yeah.
I can't even see you.
Yeah.
You're out of your mind. You're chopping dicks off and giving little kids hormone blockers. You have no idea what the long-term consequences are. You're ignoring the health risks. You won't even talk about the health risks.
Yeah.
You use things like gender-affirming care. What are you saying?
Yeah.
What are you saying when you're talking about children?
Yeah.
Why are you just accepting this? Because it's a noble thing to blurt out, so everybody goes, you're on the right team. That's what it is. It's not like, oh my God, what are we doing to kids? It's not like, oh my God, what are we doing to San Francisco? It's not like, oh my God, why are we letting these violent criminals out of jail? It's like, oh my God, why are we defunding the police?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You can't say any of those things. If you say any of those things,
But you
you're
just
a
said
Nazi.
it.
Austin people are great people. They're really nice. They're nice. They're not heads. They're not Hollywood people. They're not lost in this fake world of leftist ideology that everybody's trapped in. They're just people. They're just regular people, man. And those people exist outside of these blue bubbles where everyone's gone insane. Well, I used to be a part of the blue bubble. I was 100% a left-leaning person who lived in Los Angeles. I was 100%. I never voted Republican my whole life. I was very left-leaning, especially with like any social issues. When it comes to financial things, I'm a little bit more conservative, but at the end of the day, I'm way more left than I am right. But California went nuts, man. It's gone like full communist. It's out of its mind. And their approach to law enforcement is so insane. It's so insane. The no cash bail, the letting people out for committing violent crimes, the not stopping people for stealing up to whatever money it is. What is it, $900 now? I think they raised it. I think they made it a little higher. San Francisco is non-existent. Most of San Francisco is emptied out of like big chain stores and big department stores.
I wouldn't even do stand-up there anymore.
It's crazy.
They ruined it.
They ruined the city.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you can bring it back. The structure's still there. But
Yeah,
you'd
yeah.
have to have some hardcore Rudy Giuliani type motherfucker come in there and knock heads.
Wow.
And nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. They're peace, love, and granola and fucking wear a mask.
I'm in the middle now.
I'm in the middle. I
never thought I would ever say that.
Never.
It only happened in this last year.
Right, exactly.
I just went, I can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? People that you thought were aligned with you are like now like mad at you about shit.
They're in a cult. It's got all, I mean, Mark Andreessen, who's a brilliant venture capitalist guy, explained it to me in very clear terms, like what the definition of a cult is, how you can get excommunicated, how you get shamed for having differing opinions, the group think, he's like, it's a cult. And he's right. He's 100% right.
Yeah. It's
just hard to say because then people in the cult will attack you. But they're not attacking you for a reasonable, it's not logical, like the way they're attacking you. They're attacking like someone attacks religious beliefs.
Yeah.
And some of these religious beliefs, it gets into these weird gray areas, like trans people in women's bathrooms. Like, says who?
Yeah.
Says who? How do you know that's a real trans person? How do you not know that's a creep that wants to pull his dick out in front of kids? Because those are real.
We spa.
And if that guy was a convicted sex offender. Yeah. And he was doing that. Look, those guys are real. It doesn't mean trans people aren't real also, but those guys are real.
Yeah.
And to even say that those guys are real, you get excommunicated. You get treated like you're a Nazi.
Why I Left the Left by Joe Rogan. Okay, you get the point. Who is closer to reality? Is it Joe Rogan right there talking about the lunacy of gender, quote, affirming care and talking about the craziness of letting all the criminals out on the street of Cali? Or is it the guy we...
Hope you liked the latest snippet from the Rubin Report. We're excited to share our thoughts with you, and we're eager to hear yours. So let's dive into a discussion in the comments. If you enjoyed the clip, please show some love by hitting the like button. Don't forget to follow and subscribe for more content just like this. Let's keep the conversation going. Joe Rogan's recent comments about his political shift encapsulate a sentiment shared by many former liberals who find themselves disillusioned by the direction of current progressive policies. Rogan's acknowledgment of feeling alienated by the far left's agenda substantiates the concerns of many conservatives who value traditional social norms and law and order. It is increasingly apparent that liberal cities, particularly in states like California, are implementing policies that prioritize ideological purity over the well-being of their citizens. The concept of gender-affirming care for children, as Rogan mentions, is one such issue that is incredibly polarizing. On one hand, it is touted as progressive and empathetic, but on the other, there is a severe lack of long-term studies and an evasion of discussion about potential risks. This approach emphasizes a social narrative over empirical evidence and mature deliberation. The push to defund the police, another liberal agenda point Rogan criticizes, has proven disastrous in many cities. This movement, birthed in good intentions, has paradoxically led to increased crime, as criminals operate with a newfound boldness in the absence of a strong police presence. The no-cash bail system and the reluctance to prosecute petty crimes further embolden criminal behavior and jeopardize the security of law-abiding citizens. These measures are not the hallmarks of compassion and progress, as they are often marketed, but rather a surrender to disorder and a failure to protect the vulnerable. It's not progressive, it's neglectful. The welfare of children, the protection of neighborhoods, and the maintenance of a functional society should be bipartisan concerns, yet they are being undermined by extreme left-wing policies. Rogan points out the disconnect between everyday Americans and those engulfed in these blue bubbles of progressive extremism. The silent majority, which Rogan alludes to, comprises individuals who are less interested in virtue signaling and more concerned with pragmatic solutions to societal challenges. What Rogan is attesting to is not a full-fledged conversion to conservatism, but rather a reaction to the radicalization of the Democratic Party, which has abandoned many centrists and classically liberal Americans. Many are finding that conservative policies, which emphasize personal responsibility, public safety, and economic stability, now resonate more closely with their values. Rogan's move from California to Texas is emblematic of a larger trend, a growing exodus from states crippled by regressive policies towards those that embody the principles of freedom, responsibility, and the rule of law. It's a stark reminder that policies must balance compassion with pragmatism. If the left continues to push its extreme agendas, it risks alienating even its most staunch previous supporters, driving them into the arms of a conservative movement that is increasingly seen as the guardian of common sense and the preserver of the American way.